Welcome to the Martial Arts Business Success Podcast. We're at episode 111. Got Phil Britton on my side here and I'm Graham McDonald. And we're going to take you guys and make this 2018 year absolutely brilliant.
Faithful sidekick is here as always. All right, cool. So today, let's just get straight into it.
Yep.
As we said, these next sort of 4 episodes, we did one before the start of the year. This is sort of number 2 of this year. And they're all going to flow on and hopefully set yourself up mentally, physically, emotionally for 2018. So what we're talking about here in this episode is what should a business owner focus on and how do we get there? We talk about focusing. I think the other episode we're talking about intentions and what you focus on, you get.
Yeah.
So I think that as a business owner, we get too focused in on the little nitty gritty and the sort of, let's say, the cogs of the machine of a business.
Yep.
And if you know what cogs are like when they turn around, you just go around and around and around and around and around and around and around. Next thing you know, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, Graham, or the guys listening or watching. Sometimes you look back after 12 months and go, man, I was so busy, but I got nothing done.
Yeah.
Got nothing done. So I think one of the most important things as a business owner that you got to be focused on is getting to a point where you can sail your ship. And we speak about this quite a fair bit because at the end of the day, the captain is upstairs, he's sailing the ship, he's looking forward at the direction, he's navigating the waters, he's saying we're going to go left, but when we get up there it looks like it's a bit tricky, or whoa, there's rocks there, and hey guys who are steering the ship and they're swabbing the decks and doing all that sort of stuff. I was going to say pooping the decks. So that's still swabbing the decks. And the worker guys who are running the business are in there. They're the ones that are doing the do.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. There's too much. The business owner is in there doing the do, and they're pulled from doing what they need to do, sail the ship, and they're pulled away from doing the do because they haven't maybe they built up the team, they haven't set their schedule right, they haven't set their intentions on that.
Yeah, look, I think, just for you guys who are listening and watching on this, myself and Phil have, in our early days of business, made plenty of mistakes, and we still do, and that's really what business is all about, is trying and testing and reviewing things. Sort of what I'm getting at is, for a while there, we wanted to do absolutely everything. And when you've got a small business, you probably can do absolutely everything, but it will always just consume you and then you won't ever grow. So we needed to start to identify what sort of hat we had on at what given moment, and then the relevant tasks that fell under that sort of job role, or that I guess it would go back to being that hat. You've got to make sure you prioritize on that. And really what I'm getting at here is you can end up trying to do too much stuff and you end up doing nothing well. The jack of all trades, master of none. So it's really important to get that clarity on what you need to do, and then also be very disciplined in sticking to that and building that plan. So that's something that if you want to be sailing a ship, as you pointed out, Phil, some of these guys are in the engine room at the moment. It's like, well, how do I get to that point? Well, so I'm trying to do everything and identify what you can delegate, and then focus on the things that are going to be the most important to help your business grow to a level that you can start to lead more from the front and get rid of some of those jobs that just take up your time and consume you.
A little bit of a flashback for you guys, for people who may not know Graham and I, but we took over our instructors' school. It was a little under 300 members. And we got in there and we worked like crazy. It was a business, and we got in there and it was fantastic. In that first 12 months, we doubled student numbers and tripled revenue. In 12 months, we doubled student numbers, so 300 to 600, and we tripled the revenue. So those results were fantastic. But after that first 12 months, we were looking around going, if we keep this up, we're both going to be bald and not have a family to go home to.
That's right, yeah.
Because we were working hard, and it was okay, we loved it, but we just realised that if we keep travelling down this path, something's going to break, something's going to crack. And we then looked at all the pictures of ourselves up on the walls and we ripped them down. It no longer became the Phil Britton and Graham McDonald show. It just became Weimar. And we started propping up all our instructors, putting them up on the pedestal, giving them the shining bright light. And it was that sort of moment in time that showed us, and I guess created the environment where we could grow to a school or an organisation with 3 schools, many full-time staff, thousands of students and stuff like that.
Well, look, guys, it's important to make sure that you have the systems and procedures in place, but also identify the areas that you're lacking, because really that's kind of going to help you to really put your attention into that. Because I know there's a ton of our clients and guys who, unfortunately, we can help as much as we can, but when they neglect certain areas, they can't pass go. And what that means is if you don't have lesson plans, it means that you can't then train instructors to be able to follow lesson plans, to be able to teach classes, which means you don't have to do it, So there's definitely a process to follow, but you need to make sure that you understand, if you want to be the guy who's steering the ship and motivating your staff and running your business, where do you suck at and where do you have the holes in your business, and let's identify and focus on those.
Massive, we get it all the time, I want to, work on my team and building leadership, and so do you have lesson plans? It's sort of, not really. If you want to sail your ship, well, you can't just employ staff that know the ship inside out. Like you said, you've got to have a solid curriculum, solid lesson plans. Once you have the stuff that they can follow, the recipe for success, then you can train your staff.
Yeah, for sure.
You can train them on, improving the standard of how they deliver it.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we've got some tips and strategies on how to actually help to make creating lesson plans a hell of a lot easier. If the old saying, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
I'm working too hard in the business, so I don't have time to do that. I was like, well, you'll never have time if you don't do this. So if you guys are interested, hit us up, admin@tima.com.au. We've got a couple of great strategies there that we share. And obviously this is the stuff that we talk about regularly in the mastermind sort of group anyway. But what else are we looking at, Phil?
Well, we did that sort of just then. I didn't even realise I did it, but we looked back at 2008 when we first got into business together. And that's exactly what I think a business owner should do at the start of a year or in that sort of holiday period. Let's do it now. You don't want to leave it too late, but you definitely don't want to leave it past February. So what you want to do is you want to look back. Look back at all the things that you failed at, you sucked at, you crashed at, and look at all the things that you succeeded at, and assess, what can you learn from last year? Where did you grow most? What campaign worked the most for you? Do the things that work. Don't do the things that don't work. Try all new things. Did you not test and trial many things? Was that your problem? Was the problem that you just stuck to your guns, and if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got? You know what I mean? So, quote, there we go. We're going to put a tally. There's one for me.
Nice.
You've got to look back and assess at the things that you've done, both in a good way, the successes and the failures as well.
For sure. Look, mate, there's a lot of people that don't like looking at the things they've done wrong or fallen down. We're martial artists. God blimey, we didn't get to the level we are without having some physical and emotional feedback, meaning, physical, you're getting punched in the face. That means you need to block. You need to learn from that. And emotional is failure of certain things, not passing a grade or getting criticised for bad technique and form. You've got to improve on that. What about your business? If you always look at the rosy stuff, that's wonderful, but you'll never get any better. And I guarantee you this, and we've said this copious amounts of times on previous podcasts, if you do not innovate your business and stay current and up to date, you will no longer exist in that 5-year period. And what that means is, guys, you can't put your head in the sand. You've got to look at what you did well last year, what you didn't do well, and make sure that you are continually moving forward. So,
I'm just thinking the analogy of the whole thing about looking back. Now, you don't want to look back all the time, you want to look back sometimes occasionally. When we're driving a car, we drive a car, we look out the windscreen 95% of the time, 90% of the time. But occasionally, we look in the rear vision mirror and we look behind us. That's the same thing as what we're talking about now. Yes, we want to look forward, dream, build, goal set, and set our intentions, but hey, don't forget about what we've already climbed. Don't forget what we've already succeeded at. So occasionally look back, and this is that time of year where you should look back and you assess on all those other things.
All right, so you've seen it, you know where you are, you know where you want to go, seen a course of action. And look, again, this is where, inspiration and implementation, it sounds like we're saying the same stuff, but again, it's really important that you guys hear this because sometimes it takes you 2 or 3 or 4 times to actually go, that's right, Jesus, I better get onto that. And that is being motivated, and this is the time of year, you'll hear it often, everyone's in rah-rah mode, they're like, right, this is it, we're going to get back 2018, but what the hell are you actually doing to make it work? Don't just be one of those gunners, I'm going to do it. And then suddenly you look around, it's July and you've done nothing about it. So
I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, I should do that. If you keep shooting, you'll end up shooting all over yourself. Get that one in there.
Dad jokes, I tell you. No, but look, guys, it's about setting yourself a plan. And again, if you don't, if you're renowned for setting things and not following through, what are you doing to set yourself up? Who can you have on your team? Your accountability guys. Publicly say it, tell people, and then get on with it. So, just don't be one of those guys who say they're going to do something, do nothing with it, and then complain that nothing works. Well, it's the tools are there, the strategies are there, but again, action plans, guys. It's really probably one of the most important things.
Cool. So strategy number four for you guys, and this is the last one in this sort of string here, is to prioritize. Again, we spoke about in the cogs, and how a business owner, we have many things that we could do, many things that we should do, but really you got to think about the 80-20 rule. What is the 20% of my tasks that I could do that are going to actually lift and raise the bar?
Yeah.
What's going to lift the meter? What's going to really make a biggest difference? And you need to really focus on that, prioritize, and then attack like a mad dog. Attack like a mad man or a mad woman. Just go at it. And you're like me, Graham. We could probably look at our to-do list and there's 100 things. But if we looked at that and be really specific and go, you know what? If I just focus on these three things only, if all I put is all my attention on three things, you would probably accomplish them faster and you get it done at a higher level of success. And once you're done, then it can be refined.
That's right.
But it's like that point where you go, now, instead of having 100 of half done things, why don't I just focus? I know I've got all these things to do. It's like closing the doors. I've just got to get this done.
Yep.
And the way I sort of say, I'll put this here, just imagine that your life depended on achieving and finalising these three things. Like if you put that type of focus and that sort of pressure on yourself, like if I don't do these three things, let's say it's lesson plans we spoke about before, or curriculum, or building an instructor, or whatever it may be. If I don't complete these three things in 3 months, I freaking die. It's like you've got cancer and the cure is finishing those three things. Do you know what I mean? Like put that sort of focus on yourself and that sort of intention and pressure. I guarantee you'll finish it and you will feel better. I've done it. Ticking and scratching something off that list and going, it's done, can be refined, is so much better than just looking in overwhelm.
Yeah, well, look, it's the 1%ers, mate, that make all the difference, and a lot of people look at certain processes and think, it's not important. But what wasn't important way back then can soon be critical in your business moving forward. So don't leave the little things that Phil's saying behind. Make sure that you prioritize your tasks, tick them off, get them done, because sometimes what is an important task to do may not seem huge, but it's stopping 2 or 3 or 4 other tasks from being completed. So it's important that you make sure that you're ticking the boxes, prioritizing, getting that laser focus, and ticking and kicking those goals.
Well, you heard it, guys. The 4 strategies is to get out there and start sailing your ship. Focus on that. Number 2 was to look back and assess. Look back at the failures, look back at the successes. Once you've done that, set a new course of action. So we go, all right, well, now I know all this, now I've collected all this data and education information. My new course, my setting on the captain on the ship, I'm setting sail that way. Set your new course of action. And then number 4 is prioritize and attack like a mad dog.
Yeah, for sure. Look, wise words as always. Because we're going to have a wrap there. Don't forget, stay tuned. We've got a couple more vlogs and podcasts that are going to follow along with this series to really help make sure that you're ticking and kicking all those goals this year.
All right, guys, take care. We'll see you on the flip side.